Hello, welcome to Self-Confidence Month. I'm chatting with Jo Howarth. Jo, do you want to just tell us a little bit about what you do, and then we'll talk about self-confidence?
I will. So I'm Jo Howarth, and I'm an advanced hypnotherapist and a mindfulness practitioner, and I run a company called the Happiness Club. I help people look after their mental health and emotional well-being, of which confidence is quite a large part.
Isn't it just? And I think a lot of women in perimenopause take a hit to their confidence, don't they?
Yeah, I mean, I think for even just to start with, that when things start and you're not entirely sure what the hell's going on, it's like, oh my god, what's happened to me? It's like, in fact, I saw a post the other day in the Perimenopause Hub from a lady who was posted a picture saying, this was me 2 years ago.
Yeah, I saw that one.
Completely different person now. Bless her cottons. It really can come and sort of sideswipe you, can't it? Massively.
So what can we do to bolster it?
Bolster it. Okay, so one of my favorite techniques that I teach people, which works beautifully on confidence, is a technique called the acknowledgements. So what you do is you get I'm going to say a piece of paper and a pen, because I'm 49 years old and I work with paper and pen. But if you're more technically minded than me, you can use a tablet, whatever works for you. But I want you to get a piece of paper and a pen, and I will invite you to write a list of at least 20 things that you have achieved, that you are proud of, that you like about yourself. That's where it starts getting a bit muddy, the like about yourself bit. We aren't taught particularly to acknowledge our own brilliance ever in our lives. We're taught to, put ourselves second, put ourselves down, be self-deprecating and all that rubbish. I very much teach people to acknowledge their brilliance. So a list of at least 20 things. I'm going to make the offer, if it's all right with you, Emily, that if anyone watching this is struggling to write that list, then please get in touch with me. That's absolutely fine. I can hop on a quick Zoom with you. It will take 10 minutes, and I promise you'll have 20 things by the end of it, because I know what questions to ask you. But it's every single one of the things has to start with the words, I love that I. So that I love that I am this, I love that I have done this, I love that I have achieved this, right? So to give you some examples from my list, which I have about 75 things on my list currently, which probably won't surprise you, Emily. And I read my list every day. So to give you an example, I love that I'm kind, I love that I'm caring, I love that I'm good at what I do, I love that I'm qualified at what I do, I love that I'm good, I'm quick on my feet, I think quickly, I love that I'm creative, I love that I am a good mummy, I love that I've created the two most amazing beings in the world. That is my biggest achievement, bar none. So those kind of things, so qualities that you have. So when you're thinking about writing the list, I'm going to ask you to think about your work, right? What makes you good at the job that you do? Your relationships, what makes you a good partner? What makes you a good parent? What makes you a good friend? Think of those qualities that you bring to all those different things in your life. Your hobbies, what are you good at doing? So one of my hobbies is singing. So I love that I'm good at singing. And there's that bashful part of me that goes, oh, you can't admit to that. But at the same time, actually, my hobby is to sing. I sing. If I wasn't good at it, the people that hire me to sing wouldn't hire me to sing, right? No. So look outside of yourself for evidence of these things. So you get your list of 20 things, and it's a really nice exercise to do to bolster yourself for 5 minutes in a day, right? To go, oh, look at these 20 things that I am, aren't I ace? But that impact lasts about 5 minutes, right? So what you then do is you spend 5 minutes every day. So I set a timer for 5 minutes on my phone every day. I do them in the morning because it sets my day up for brilliance. And for that 5 minutes, what I'm going to ask you to do is say that list out loud, right? Which will potentially make you cringe past yourself. But I am going to ask you to stick with it, because you will come out the other side of the cringe. When you read the list, so I just rattled off some of mine to you, right? When you read the list, please don't do it like I just did it. Don't go, I love that I'm a good mummy. I love that I'm caring. I love that I've created these two amazing beings, right? You say them like this. I love that I am a good mummy. I love that I have created the two most amazing beings in the entire world, right? You put as much emphasis, feeling, emotion into each one of those as you possibly can, okay? And you will feel, when I started doing this, I felt like a total nana. You'll feel like a complete, I'm trying to think of a word without swearing. You'll feel like a complete nana when you do it, right? But that won't last. If you keep going every day, just reading these things to you, I could rattle off my list of 70 things without any embarrassment, without any awkwardness. I could stand in a room full of people and say to them, this is what I am, this is who I am. In fact, I did a social media post yesterday on my general social media that said, I'm amazing. I'm amazing because I'm all these things. You're amazing too. Tell me why, right? And actually, I got a lot of comments back going, oh, I can't possibly say. And because again, we're not taught to do it. We're not taught to say, I am freaking amazing, man. These are all these things that I am, right? So that's what the acknowledgements do. You make the list, and then every day for 5 minutes, read it out loud. If it's too much for you to read it out loud, read it in your head or write them out again, right? Get yourself to the point where you can say them out loud, then do it with as much feeling as you possibly can. Every single day, it will just start to seep into every pore of your being, and you'll start feeling, I was going to say, you'll start feeling okay with who you are. You'll start feeling more than okay with who you are, right? You'll start feeling confident. Hurrah.
That sounds awesome, Jo. Thank you. I think everybody needs to acknowledge just how great they are, don't they?
Really, honestly, it's ridiculously important to me. I think, like I say, we're not taught to do it as kids. We're taught that other people are better than us at things, and we're taught, you know, not to blow our own trumpets and not to get too big for our own boots and all of that stuff. I hate those phrases, right? I'm here to, please get too big for your boots. Do it. Outgrow them, right? Go for it. You're an amazing, awesome human being, and you've got a set of qualities, attributes, characteristics that nobody else has got in the way that you've got them. So shout about it, talk about it, say how
Absolutely.
amazing, right?
Isn't it funny? I think we're all guilty of this at some point. We compare ourselves against others and we find ourselves lacking because we just do.
Yeah.
But most people are probably comparing against us and finding themselves lacking.
Yeah.
Because what we may see as a fault in ourselves, someone else is desperate to have as an attribute, aren't they?
Absolutely. But also what we're doing when we're doing that is, I mean, essentially we're making it up, right? We're looking at that person and we decide that that person is this, that, and the other because that's how they look on social media, or that's how they look when we see them in public, or that's what we think they are. But actually we're projecting those qualities onto that person who probably isn't feeling like that at all. You know, when at the height of my my days of daily anxiety 20 years ago, if you'd met me, you would have thought I was completely confident and sure in myself, and I was a crumbling mess inside, right? So when we do that comparisonitis thing, we're making it up completely. So it behoves us, there's a good word, it behoves us to remember that, I think, right? To remember that actually there's a very famous phrase, you don't judge your inside by someone else's outside.
Absolutely. And I think also, you know, each of us, our internal voice, without the appropriate training for it, is our harshest critic.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and you look at your friends and you think, oh, well, you know, she never worries about that, and she just sort of is really good at X, Y, and Z, and blah, blah, blah. Which are probably all things that you do really well, because otherwise you wouldn't be friends with that person. You probably have very similar core values and whatever. Yeah. And then you sort of look at yourself and you go, oh, I'm just fat and useless and rubbish and lazy. And it's like, what? You wouldn't say that to a friend. Why on earth are you saying it to yourself?
And that's what the acknowledgements exercise helps to do. It just helps to start turn that round, right? The other thing that you can do, so I do the acknowledgements at the beginning of the day. The other thing that you can do at the end of the day is just take a couple of minutes and write down. Writing has a massive, lovely, beautiful impact in here, right? Write down 3 things that you did well that day. They might be work related, they might be home related, family, people, whatever. Just 3 things that you think you did well that day. And again, over time, what that will do is start making you go, oh yeah, maybe I am good at things. Maybe I can do something, right?
And they don't need to be big things, do they? It might be, I made a really nice spaghetti carbonara last night, or whatever.
Yeah.
Or had a really nice hug with the dog or something. It doesn't need to be, oh, and
No,
actually I solved, the climate change issue.
no, I
And by
think
the way, I've got COVID nailed. It's not that. It's just, and actually, I happen to get a really nice photo on my phone, and I'm really proud of that, or whatever, isn't it? It's like
yeah,
those silly
absolutely.
things.
Or that phone call that went well, where you said the thing that you wanted to say in the way that you wanted to say it. Or they don't have to be, like you say, life-changingly huge, enormous, world-changing things that you've done well. Just something, 3 things every day that you can say, no, actually I did that quite well. I hoovered the sitting room really nicely. Do you know what I mean? It's like, it
Yeah.
doesn't, whatever it is, just to start counteracting that negative self-talk, like you say.
Yeah. Awesome. Thank you so much, Jo.
All right, my darling, you're very welcome.